Good morning, good afternoon, welcome to our webinar. My name is Wycliffe Esaje. I'm a consultant at Lifecycle Enterprise Limited. We are glad that you have joined us today for this webinar. So last month's webinar was on mastering procurement of consultancy services with the FSE ProcureNet. So today we are going to focus on mastering procurement of works with FSE ProcureNet, whereby we are navigating the life cycle of construction and maintenance contracts. So in this webinar, we are going to have an overview of the system, that is the features of the system, able to look at the benefits also, and we'll have also a brief demo just to have an overview of how the system looks like, and we are able to go through the process involved, and then we'll have a Q&A. So first we look at the benefits. Yeah, so to appreciate the automation, it is important to note that many organizations are still struggling with the fragmented procurement processes. We have delayed approvals, there is limited visibility and compliance challenges. Yeah, so managing procurement manually often leads to inefficiencies, audit risks, and we also have reduced accountability. So to mitigate these risks, Flexem has developed this solution, that is the FSE ProcureNet, to ensure there is a reduced procurement cycle time, because the system has a clear SOP, and information can be retrieved at any time or on real-time basis. This system helps to improve on the accountability, especially for most of the procurement staff or experts. Because usually have a challenge where they have to account for how they've made their decisions. So this system captures every process. That's why there is improved accountability and transparency. Because also the system, you are able to budget and funds, so there is better budget control. Also we centralize the procurement records. Since you are using the system, it's one database keeping all your records, so there is a better management of your records. Also there is real-time tracking of any transaction, and also you can be able to report from the system at any time. The system also helps to improve on the supplier collaboration. So since you can be able to engage with your suppliers right from the system, suppliers don't have to come to the site. They can be able to interact with the organization or institution at any time, right from their comfort of their seats, and they can only come to the site when need arises. So basically, this system is an end-to-end solution, and it automates and streamlines and also strengthens the procurement operations across the entire procurement life cycle. So we are just going to review some of the features of this system. So this system basically helps to manage your budget. So there is the module for procurement planning and budgeting. You can be able to enter your procurement plans in the system, and you can also upload your budgets, or you can still initiate the process right from the system. So it depends with the need of the client. You can be able to create your requisitions and of course process your requisitions right in the system. So we have the requisition management module to help achieve the same. Talked about supplier collaboration. So these suppliers, their records, you can be able to manage them in the system, and they can be able to bid online, through the supply portal. You can also do your tender solicitation management in the system, whether you are using RFQs, that is request for quotations, whether you're using request for proposals, whether it's the expression of interest. So all these methods are well inbuilt in the system. You can be able to manage your tenders right in the system. So the entire process tender goes through from preparation to publication. You can be able to do that in the system with the relevant approvals followed. Also, you can be able to generate LPOs in the system. You can manage your catalog or the stock items in the system. You can also manage the contracts that are generated, as a result of either of the processes. So where you have contracts, you can be able to manage all that right in the system. You can also upload invoices, that is for the suppliers. They don't have to come or bring or send an email for an invoice after maybe they have completed a milestone. So they can upload the invoice from the supplier portal, and the internal staff team can be able to see that, so that they can be able to process payments. So we also have reporting, so you can be able to generate any reports in any format that you might want. Also we have notifications. So whenever there is a task pending for any of the staff members, they can be able to get the notifications right in their emails with the links to be able to log in and execute what is required of them based on their roles. You can also do reverse procurement, that is like when you're disposing your assets. So the auctioning, the donations, and so on, you can be able to manage that in the system. The system also can work with any other system. You can integrate it with like your ERPs, that is your financial management systems, or any other system of interest, so that we have a smooth flow of transactions or information that is from the system to another, or transaction can self-flow from the system. For example, if you are managing your budget in an ERP like Sun Systems, you can be able to get the budget that you have posted in the ERP, so that you can use that in the budget management module. So you can integrate those systems to be able to have smooth flow of your transactions as staff. So we are going to look at the procurement process and the stages that are involved. So when you are dealing with the works, basically there's different types of procurement methods that are involved. But in the system, you'll have to first configure this system. Once you have configured it, you'll be able to enter your plans. So that's why we have the procurement planning module. So there you are able to do the plans and the budgets. So from there, you are restricted to either procure within the plan, or if there is need, you can also do unplanned requisitions, which can go through approvals. So we have the requisition creation and approvals. Then we have the creation of tenders, and of course the suppliers. Once the tenders have been published, the suppliers can be able to submit their bids. If there is any clarifications maybe to be made to the bidders, so they can be able to get information, or you can interact with the bidders right in the system. If there is any changes to be made to tenders, you can raise the addenda in the system to be able to correct the tenders. And also you can be able now to close your tenders and thereafter do the evaluation. So you can do committees in the system that can evaluate the bids that have come in from the suppliers. So here we have different levels of evaluation. So you're going to see you can have the administration evaluation and technical evaluation. Once the two are done, now you can be able to get reports that are approved thereafter. Also, you can be able to negotiate with the bidder that you are awarding that tender. So if you enter into negotiation, you can process that in the system and you set a meeting where you can negotiate and agree on the new prices and other requirements in executing the works that are expected. And thereafter, you can be able to sign the contract right in the system. Then thereafter, the last thing will be on the management of those contracts that you sign. And of course, once the supplier submit the invoices, yeah, so those invoices, the finance management or the finance team, they can be able to access them and use them to process payments. Thereafter, you will have closed you have closed the contract, and from there you can be able to assess your suppliers. Yeah, so whoever was awarded, you can be able to assess that supplier. So having looked at the value this system brings to the procurement operations and its features and the process thereof, we are going to have a walkthrough the system. We are going to see how you can be able to process the works procurement within this system. So I'm going to log into the system so that now we can be able to view these features and see some of these modules that we are talking about. For the system, once it has been implemented or installed on your environment, you can be able to access through the web. It's a web-based system. So you access through the browser. For example, like here, I have the link to the system. So this is the landing page, just showing this FSE ProcureNet. Yeah, the overview of some of the features or what you expect to get from the system. You'll be given the login credentials that you use to access the system. The system is highly secure. So when you are accessing the system, there is two-level authentication that is enabled for security purposes. So apart from the email and the password, so once you provide that and click on login, yeah, we talked about notifications. So you can be able to get the notifications. So if I go to my email, I'll be able to get a notification to use. So this is the email I've received. Yeah, so there is this OTP, and it expires after a few minutes, as you can see here. So once I input the OTP and click on verify, now from there, so you see, apart from just providing your password, there is also the OTPs, which can be sent via email, or you can get them on your phones. You can get the OTP on your phone so that you can be able to enter. So you can choose the method that the organization is okay with. So now from here, you can see the landing page. So the system will be showing just at a glance. You can be able to know like the number of requisitions that have been made, whether they are planned or unplanned. You can be able to know how much budget has been spent. So just from the landing page. Yeah, and of course, you can be able to see as a user, you have access, you have been given particular roles. Yeah, so you'll be able to see that, and you can create your account and give it the necessary features that you do, and you can upload your signature in the system so that when you are approving a document that requires a signature, it is picked automatically from your account. So you'll be set up by the system admin. Currently, the last time I logged into this system, I used the details for the procurement analyst. So whenever you log out and log in again, your previous session, that is how, the role that you logged in with will be the one that automatically will appear. And of course, being a role-based system, everyone will be accessing functionalities based on their roles. Yeah, for this demonstration, I've assigned myself several different roles and functionalities to be able to do this demo. So I might use one or two users just to be able to do this demonstration. Those that have the rights, have been signed the rights to be able to access the functionalities or the basic ones that are relevant to what we are going to go through. So your system admin will be able to set up the system, the organization, that is the entities and so on. So from here, you can see as an organization, you can be able to set up the departments, the projects, if you deal with projects, the supply categories. Remember, for supply categories, you must have works as one of the supply category, and so on. You're able to set up also the workflows. So from the system setup, you can be able to do your workflows, how you want to approve various transactions in the system, the tenders or requisitions. So you do the setup first. After that, also you'll have the employee setup, each employee with their roles. And now when you're doing the procurement, you'll be following the roles that have been assigned to you, and you'll be getting notifications. So you'll have the procurement plan that will be entered in the system. So basically, the way we have set up, the procurement analyst is the one who will assign an officer. So like you can see here, once you create a financial year, the procurement analyst can be able to assign an officer to be able to upload the procurement plan, or you can initiate the planning right in the system. So it depends with, as a client, what you want. So here, once you assign an officer, they receive a notification to upload the the plan for that particular financial year, which will go through approvals. So from here, if I click on procurement plan, you can see some of the plan, the procurement plans that have been approved. As you can see here, the amount, how much has been spent, how much is available, and for which financial year. So you can be able to enter the plans for any category. For example, like if I major on works, so these are the plans for works. You can also do plans for consultancies and so on based on the procurement categories. So once you have entered your plan, you can decide also to enter the budget, or you can decide to use the procurement plan. So it is the procurement policies in your organization. Yeah, so after that, now you will start now doing the requisitioning. So you enter the requisitions that you want. So for example, here, if I click on view plans, that is for requisitions that are within the plan, you can be able to see them here, or I can see the requisitions that are raised. So if I just switch, so this system, I've assigned myself several roles. I can switch to a different role. So if I switch to requisition now, so anyone who is only assigned to do requisitions, so you see the functionality reduces because this role only has these few functions that you can be able to access. And now from here, from the plan, you can see the requisitions that are there. When you are doing requisitions for, you just want to click edit. When you are doing a requisition for works, when you have the plan in the system, it's very easy. You just select the plan, and then you enter the requisition title and the items. So you just select the items that have been set up. For example, if I view this this item here, if I click on view, I can be able to see the category, subcategory, the purchase type, the quantities, and so on, and even the requisition amount. By default, it is 15,000 financial. So I can be able to see the details and the available budget. The available budget in case I need to procure electrical works. That's the budget for that particular item in the procurement plan. So you can enter several items that you want and the descriptions thereof. You can also attach. Then for works, you have to give the description. So exactly what you are doing, like this one being electrical, you can be able to describe exactly the kind of work that is going to be done, or you can attach a document just for the same. It's important to include the bill of quantities, that's the BOQ. This is what now the suppliers or the bidders will use to be able to enter the prices against, though they can also include if they want. So at this stage of requisitioning, you can enter the BOQ that will be moving all across the stages, or if you didn't have the clear view of the BOQs that you need to input, you can still do it at the tender preparation stage. So that's why you can see you can add different rows, you can remove those that you don't need. These are the ones that I've added, and then you can be able to suggest the technical evaluation criteria that will be used when evaluating the bidders. You can also attach any documents on the same. So once you are through that, you'll be able to submit. So it will go through the approvals that have been set. Yeah, whether you want to start with the finance or procurement or you know. So whenever I log in, I'm able to tell if there is any task pending on my side. So there is this button here. If I just click on it, I can see the tasks that are pending on my side. When I click proceed, I can be able to execute them. So I just want to switch back to the procurement analyst. So once you have done your requisition, so that requisition, it will go through approvals. For example, if I check on this requisition, let me just view one. So you can see like for this one, it's a requisition for plumbing and sanitary works, and it has gone through approvals. The head of department, finance officer, and finance specialist. These are the ones that are in the workflow. They're the ones that need to approve this item. So once they've approved, and you'll see the message there showing you whether it has passed budget. So it is also comparing the figures that you have input versus what we have in the budget. So it has to pass. If it's of course over, then the system will be able to highlight or show you that the whatever you are raising is beyond what was budgeted for. So once the approvals have been done in the system, so you are able now to go to the next stage. So here you'll have the procurement analyst or head of procurement, so the organization and the roles of the staff. So they receive a notification asking them to assign someone to prepare the tender. So for example, I've logged in as the procurement analyst, and I can see here there is one tender that I've been assigned to prepare. So I can be able just to click on it, and then from there I can be able to proceed. So I want to use another account. I want to use another account here, procurement manager. We want to see from the procurement manager side. So from the tendering, you can see if it is assigned to a particular officer in the system. So they'll not be able to, no one else can get a notification. It is only that person who has been assigned. So I'm just showing you that the process or the approval workflow is followed strictly. So the way it has been set, that's how it is followed. So here you can see, though this is the procurement manager, he cannot be able to generate or create or prepare a tender because there's no tender for them here. Yeah. So as the procurement analyst, you'll be able to assign someone. So just click on assign, and then you pick an officer that you want to prepare the tender. So when you select the officer, they'll receive a notification asking them to log into the system and prepare the tender. So whenever they receive that notification, when they go to the system, they'll be able to see a notification, and also under tendering, they can be able to click on generate new. So from here, whatever has been assigned to those officers, they'll be able to see it there. Now they can be able to prepare the tender. For example, they just select the lines. You might have several requisitions that are supposed to go into the tendering process. That is, the tenders need to be prepared against them. So all the lines will appear if this officer has been assigned to prepare them. So all the lines will always appear there. So you can choose the lines that you want to prepare the tender against. So when you select and you click proceed, it goes to the next stage. So you cannot click on the next stage, you have to go step by step. So you can see under identification here, now you can be able to specify the title for your tender. So for example, remember it has picked the title for the requisition. So here you can come and specify the title for the tender, maybe tender for electrical installation works. The currencies, you'll be able to specify the currencies. The category, we are dealing with works. Remember, we are procuring within the procurement plan. So you cannot be able to amend this category because the requisition is from procurement plan. So you can also not amend the subcategory. But now the procurement method, you can be able to select. So whether you want this to be open to anyone, anywhere, either in the world or a region, or you only want to pick specific suppliers that have been pre-qualified. So if you pick restricted, it means this method will have automatically a button for suppliers. So you'll have to select the suppliers that will participate. Yeah. So from here also we have the solicitation method. So this is the method you are going to use to select the bidders. So or to invite the bidders to submit their bids. So the moment you use restricted, you can be able to choose either request for quotation based for minor works. So depending on the procurement, if it's minor works, you can be able to use request for quotation. But for major works, you can use invitation to bid. So you'll be able to specify the period the tender is going to run. That's the flotation period, and the days the works will be executed in, and then the time when bidders are allowed to ask or submit any query. So you give them a period when the tender is running, they can be able to ask questions or get any clarifications. And the time the bid is valid, so whatever bids you are going to receive, it's good to have a bid valid within that the entire process up to the end of the execution, so that the prices don't change and the supplier or the bidder comes wanting to change the prices maybe in the middle of the execution of the works. So being works also, you can be able to specify whether a site visit is necessary or not. So in most cases for works, it is necessary. Once you select yes, you have to specify the date and also the venue when you want that to be done. So from here, you'll be able to go to the description of the works and you select the bidders. Remember, like for example, if you choose regional or open tendering, where it is open to. So from here, you can see you only have two options. You have request for expression, where you can get suppliers that are qualified, whom you invite to submit their quotations. Or you can use invitation to bid directly. So where they send in the bids. So from there, if you save, you'll be able to go to the next stages. So at this stage, once you prepare your tender, initially it will be appearing under unpublished tenders. So for example, the one that I've just begun, it is here, and you can see it is telling me resume because I had begun to prepare it. So it will be initially appearing under unpublished tenders or in draft. So the process now will end with the procurement analyst or head of procurement based on the policies that have been set. They are the ones who are going to publish the tender. So when they publish the tender, of course, they get notification asking them to do that, or it will appear automatically on the task manager. So they'll be able now to access the system. They'll be able to review the unpublished, and of course, they'll be able to execute. So for example, if I click on publish tenders, I just want to review one. So when you publish the tender, if you click on view, it will take you to the tender preparation stage, how the tender was prepared, the attachments, and so on. So you'll be able to see, and even the approvers who approved the tender once it was fully prepared, and the methods and so on, the values involved. So you can be able to get them from there when you view. That is from the publish tenders. You can be able to track on the process that is right from the acquisition all the way to the final approvals. So if any task was not done in time, you're able to see from the status that if it was completed in time, you're able to note. So this helps you to track your procurement activities. So once that tender has been published, so a procurement manager, just want to switch now to the procurement manager. So I go to the published tenders. So there's a role the procurement manager has, that is the moment the tender is published, once the bidders start sending in their bids, the procurement manager can still make changes to that tender, but that change can only be done through addendum. So you have to raise an addendum. As you can see here, it's this add new. That means you can be able to make changes to this tender here. So some of the changes include like amending the tender closure dates. So I just want to first take us to the supplier portal where we can be able to view now on the supplier side or the bidder side. So in the supplier portal, I want to log in the supplier portal. Then we are able to see so as a supplier, you'll also have login credentials to level authentication. So they'll be able to get notifications and also the OTPs. So I'll refresh my email or check. This is what, sorry, I check my email for the OTP. So this is the OTP. So I'll go and enter the code. Then you'll be in the supplier portal after logging in. Now from there, the supplier can be able to see right from the landing page. They can see the active tenders, which they can be able to send bids against. They can be able to see the tenders that have been invited to participate, those that have been awarded. If they participated in a disposal, they can be able to see under disposal items here. They can be able to know, for example, the last month tenders that they have done and so on. And you have this pie chart here that also shows the summaries. So from the left side, they can be able to access any of those functionalities or right from the dashboard like we have seen. They'll be able to know the supplies from which country and so on. So if this supplier clicks on the open tenders, they can see the tenders that are currently open. For example, here these tenders are not just open. In fact, the supplier has participated. So currently this one is running. They have submitted their bid and this is the bid. So when they click on that, they're able to see the bid that they have put in. So for this particular tender, the supplier was able to provide the cost, of course, for both the bill of quantities and also the activities and the figures. And then, of course, they have to also provide information about the equipment this being works, which equipments are going to be used in the process. Yeah, they're able to also give the information. This being works, we are using quality based, so they have to ensure they send in the best bid to be considered. So they have to specify information like the expertise to be involved. They fill the forms equipment, the personnel and the roles, the education level and understanding of the languages and also professional bodies and so on. So this one is also customizable based on the policies of an organization that's using the system. and the experience also is very important. So they have to key in all this information. And if in the tender preparation you requested for some documents, automatically at the end, you're able to see where they attach those documents. For example, administrative evaluation, you might want, for example, the PIN registration number for that supplier. So they have to attach the document for that, like the VAT certificate. Also, for example, if you needed the business registration, they can be able to attach and any other relevant information. For example, warranty. If there is warranty required, also they can come. So it is added at the tender preparation stage, and it will appear on the bidder side. So once they finish filling the information, they can submit. The moment they submit, as you have seen, it will show the status submitted, though the tender is still running, meaning it has not closed. You can be able to see also what has been awarded. So this is on the supplier side. I want to go back to the internal portal. So from here, once you are done, you can be able to maybe expect a tender to run within the specified period, but for some tenders, when there is an emergency case, maybe you need the services to be provided even much earlier than anticipated. So you can be able to initiate the closure. So you do that using an addendum. You can be able to raise that. So the moment you raise that addendum, you'll be able to give the reasons why. That's through the comments and your request. So it has to go through approval. That's why we are saying your request here. Yeah. So the officers will be in the organization, what is the head of procurement, they can be able to allow you to proceed to close the tender. So once you close the tender, now you'll be able to go to the next stage, that is the evaluation. So here, you'll go to the evaluation. For example, I want to review. So for this type, they cannot be able to see, or maybe there is no evaluation that is pending. I want to use the procurement analyst. Once you have closed your tender, this is a sample request that was approved by the procurement analyst, and thereafter you can be able to see the bids from the bid register. So it is telling you the number of submissions from the bidders. You can view the bidders. These are the bidders that have submitted the bids. So once it is closed, you'll be able to go to prepare a committee. So there is the tender committee. So this one is prepared by the procurement officer. Yeah, so they have to provide a committee that is going to review the bids. For example, this one is still pending committee creation. This one here has been approved. So you can see the members here. We had 3 members. So one of the members that is assigned the chairperson role. Another one will be the secretary, and we have evaluator. So basically, we encourage more than one evaluator, but for a demo purpose, we are just doing one evaluator. It's good to have more than one evaluators, like 3. Remember, evaluators can only be in the, you cannot use even numbers. Yeah, so it's good to use odd numbers so that you can be able to pick the best bidder from the evaluation. So you can use 1, 3, 5, and so on. Yeah. So like this is the evaluator. Then you have the secretary who is key in preparing documents relevant to the tender, and the chairperson will be the one who initiates the process. For example, opening the evaluation and the closing and everything, and also the approvals. So this committee has to be approved. As you can see, this one was approved. After being approved, now you go to the evaluation stage. So just want to view a completed evaluation. So for this tender, when I click on view completed action, I can be able to click to see the evaluations that were done. So for that particular tender, that is number 159, provision for electrical works. So these are the bidders who submitted their bids. Initially, you have the administrative evaluation. So the evaluator was able to rate them. Whatever they provided was clear. It was okay. So at this stage, you are able to give plus your comment. So for both suppliers, you can see they passed this administrative evaluation. Now, from the administrative, the chairman now who opened the evaluation will now also open the technical evaluation. So they have to mark the administrative evaluation complete, then you go to technical evaluation. So technical evaluation, here you also evaluate the bidders. So you can see for solid stone constructors, you can see here there is one concern. So there was no evidence for the qualifications. Yeah, so here they were not rated. Yeah, so everything else was provided apart from the qualifications, which is key also when it comes to provision for electrical works. So once they are through with the evaluation and it's marked as complete, now they'll be able to open the financials. So when you click on the view financials, now you see there is only one supplier. So it means the other supplier, Solistone, did not pass the technical. So if you fail an evaluation, for example, if you fail administrative, you need to be able to go to the technical evaluation. And if you fail technical, you need to be able to go. So this is the quality-based method. But if you're using another method like the scoring one, yeah, you're able to rate based on the score that is assigned by the evaluators. So there you're able to rate your bidders. So here, this supplier was able to pass the technical, and now you are able to review their financials, and you are able to recommend. So he was recommended. So once you finish evaluation, just click on the view report. You can be able to see the report that was generated from the same, and this report was approved. So this report also has to be confirmed by the people who participated in the evaluation. That is the committee members and the process. So it is showing the details that the tender went through during the evaluation. So if I click now on the award, so you can see once you award, you can decide to negotiate. So remember, we had only one bidder, so you can decide to negotiate. When you negotiate, you also have a committee that will be involved in the negotiation. You select members, and then the result is a report, negotiation report. This report has to be approved. So you can see like this tender, there was a negotiation, and one of the key things is the figures. So though the bidder had bid 6,700 and around 50 USD, but from the negotiation, you agreed to 6,000. So this one has to be approved by the members and the procurement analyst or the head of procurement. From there, there's the award letter. They'll be able to receive a letter. This letter, they have to confirm because they have been offered the work, so they have to confirm and accept. If they accept, then they'll be able to sign a contract. So there is the contract. So this contract will be generated by the procurement officer or procurement analyst. They are showing the duration, the financier, and the details that are relevant to the organization or what the organization expects in contracts. Remember, here you involve your legal office or legal officer. They will participate in the signing. So that's why you can see in the approvals, there's the legal officer. They can assign someone to review the contract and submit this contract to the supplier. So let's see on the supplier's side. So this supplier who was awarded, so you can see the awarded tenders. If you click on view contract, they'll be able to see the contract, the details that are there. Of course, the new figure, other than what, and also the signature that has been provided. So they'll have to accept. You can see here the supplier confirmed and signed the contract on this date. So they have to confirm because there are some changes, for example, with regard to the figures. So they have to confirm that this is what they agreed during the negotiation. They can see the negotiation report. It's also visible from their side because they were part of the negotiation. So the award letter, the contract, and any interaction between the supplier and the committee, they can be able to use this tab here to interact. So whenever supplier sends a message, the committee can be able to see. That's why we are saying there is transparency in this system. So any other time we have an auditor who wants to know what transpired during the process, if there was any interaction, we'll be able to see the interaction from here. And then now from here, the supplier now is required to start executing. So they've been awarded, they have signed the contract. Now they're expected to start the work. So here you can see the supplier has begun. These are the milestones that were prepared in the contract. So you agreed that the first 5 days, the supplier will be paid this amount. Then thereafter, the next stage, 7 days, they'll be able to pay. But all this is only possible once they submit the reports. So on the progress reports, the supplier will come here and submit a report. So they can be able to highlight how they have executed the work, and then they can attach also if there is need and submit. So when they submit the report, on the side of the procurement staff, like the head of procurement or procurement analyst, they can be able to see the progress report. It has to go through approval. So the head of department where the works are being done, they'll be able to approve. Also the head of procurement or procurement analyst or whoever is assigned that role, they'll be able to approve the reports from the supplier. After approving, if there is any issue to be logged in, the supplier can be able to, they can be able to submit any issue in the process of executing the works. And once a report has been approved, there's the invoice. The supplier will be able to submit an invoice. You see here, there's no completed milestone. Fine. That means supplier cannot submit an invoice until they finish the expected milestone, as it is highlighted in the contract and also in the action plan here. So, for example, from this awarded let me just go to the side of the internal portal where the contract is being managed. So after the evaluation, like we have seen, once it is completed, you are able to see the award and all the reports that were involved, the interaction with the supplier. You're able to see all that. Now, from there, you'll be able to go to the contract management because the supplier has signed the contract. Now, from the contract list, you can be able to see the submissions from the supplier. Whenever the supplier submits a report for every milestone, now you'll be able to see that. You can see from the internal portal, you cannot be able to amend this report because the supplier has to submit. Here, the supplier has not submitted. That's why no one can be able to edit this side. This is only editable from the side of the supplier. Then the interactions that the supplier sends, you'll be able to get them from there. And if there is any changes to the contract, there's the addendum part where you can be able to make changes to the contract, the invoices. So just want to view as this is the procurement analyst. So when you view as the procurement manager, go to contract management contract list. Yeah, so you can be able to see a similar, a similar contract. Yeah, and of course the functionalities that is available on the same. So that is the stages that a contract goes through or the procurement for works. And once you are done with the procurement, now you can be able to assess your suppliers. So like, for example, for the current tender, since the milestones report have not been submitted, now you cannot be able to rate the supplier. So that's why you can see here the evaluation. So you cannot rate a supplier or assess that supplier until they finish the execution of the works. So currently this one is immature, but for this one which is complete, someone can be able now to rate. And like for example here we have two staff members who rated the supplier. After rating that supplier, like out of 5, you can be able to rate every achievement or milestone, and thereafter the system will automatically calculate the average score for that particular bidder or supplier, and you can be able to get a certificate. So the system goes through the entire procurement process, right from the requisitions all the way to contract management and invoices or payments.
FSE ProcureNet system has you covered. Call us on our official line or visit us on our website or our social media handles to request for a demo, and one of our team members will sort you out as soon as possible. FSE ProcureNet, streamlining our procurement processes.